Welcome back to the show, and thank you very much for staying tuned. Maria, let's talk about St. Lucia Jazz. It was rebranded and relaunched during the week.
A very, very posh launch. They did it a bit differently. The launch was live, radio, television, you know, a lot of audio visual in there. There was a red carpet, etc. It was quite a presentation.
I did not see it. However, I mean, it continues to bother me that the media is omitted from the planning of jazz. When every jazz, there are so many issues related to media, not media in general, but in particular local media.
Local media.
There are always issues related to local media. And then this is one of the things that we had asked the Prime Minister to do, to incorporate the Media Association in the planning of those national events.
Yeah.
It's a tourist board event that so much money is being spent on for marketing.
Yes.
However, the media do not have a voice as to what goes out, or just to say how it is planned and how we can be accommodated better, notwithstanding the fact that there is now a media association in place. That is very disappointing to me.
I think that the tourist board maybe approaches it as the media, they being more essential to the media than the local media being essential to them. Because remember, from start, the St. Lucia Jazz has always been about attracting outside business, bringing tourists in. So maybe their perception is that the local media has very little, despite the fact that we see so many St. Lucians, and that's part of what makes the Jazz Festival, the St. Lucians who come there, who are part of it, who bring the vibe, who bring the energy. But notwithstanding that, they seem to be focusing on the outside media. So maybe they would have gotten, during their, they do those polls when people come into the venue, polls of the actual media who are there from overseas, the local media, as well as the audience. So they kind of get, maybe they trust that, and of course they trust the advisors who are overseas, who have an idea of the global music industry, to steer them correctly.
Well, you see, it smacks of disrespect to me, because I don't care what the intent of the Jazz Festival was, and I know it was to act as a booster or a buffer during the low season, the traditionally low tourist season, to get people to come into the island. However, the local media are the ones covering St. Lucia, and if more tourists are coming in for St. Lucia Jazz and adding to our economy, adding to our GDP, then this is a story that the local media should be covering.
Well, the media is not prevented from covering the story.
No, what I'm saying is they should be covering it, and they know what they're looking for, so they know how they should be accommodated. Yes, the foreign media, they're all about the stars, they're all about the ambience, they're all about the event. But for us, it's more than that. That is just one aspect of it. We live here.
It's about how money being spent.
Right, exactly.
On that money.
Exactly. And every aspect of the Jazz Festival affects the media.
Yes.
Every aspect affects the media. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, because we are a conduit between those planners and the public.
Yes.
We are the go-between. Yes. And if you omit the go-between, then there's a major disconnect. And that is what has been happening. There is a major disconnect between the organizers of the Jazz Festival and other tourist-related activities and the public.
But
I mean, a lot of people...
the organizers don't see that there's that
and
disconnect.
And that is why we should be brought on board.
But if they don't see there's a disconnect, they would not see the need to bring anybody to advise them on, actually addressing it. If I don't see a lack, then I don't see a need to address any kind of lack, because things are going great. Yeah,
but you see, because tourism has been made to exist in a world, in a realm of its own. There was somebody who made a point on Newspin earlier this week, and they said, the person was saying that St. Lucia has a strong hotel sector, but not a strong tourism sector.
Definitely.
And they compared it to Barbados.
Yeah.
They said that Barbados has a good tourism product, because you have people coming in and being exposed to everything that is Bajan.
Yes.
So you don't have the all-inclusives. All-inclusives do not exist in Barbados. So you have those visitors come into your island and interact with the real Is there a sandals? I
In
don't think.
Barbados,
No, there's no sandals in Barbados. Is there?
I don't think so.
No, there's
No,
no,
not
there's
aware
none. And Bert Stewart bought a property in Barbados. They would not allow him to open it.
Yeah.
And he was trying to trade with Almond Morgan Bay, Taylor,
Right, yes, yes,
to,
yes.
to get him to take his property in
Again, because
Barbados. Right.
the model is all inclusive, and
Exactly.
like we see on the strip in Rodney Bay, that used to be so vibrant. There used to be a nice mix of locals and tourists there almost every night of the week. Then you have the all-inclusive, you know, model being brought in, and all of a sudden everybody's in the hotel or being transported in this big air-conditioned bus from one venue to the next. As you said, very little interaction with the locals. There are places like Lucian Country House, there's the zipline tours, etc., Shrewsbury Craft Market, where people go. But even that, I find the experience is not vibrant, inclusive, is not beneficial enough.
Not even vibrant and inclusive. This is also, these are also, as far as I'm concerned, tourist-made products. You know, so they are tailored to suit tourists.
Yes,
they are made for
in,
tourists. So you
yeah.
you do not experience the real Lucian life. You don't experience, okay, sitting under a mango tree and enjoying the culture, going into the different communities and seeing how the people live. Because part of what you travel for, part of what I travel for is to experience the culture.
Of course.
You know, I want to see how people live. I want to experience and I love doing that. But then if you're sheltered in such a way where you only have, you're on a prescribed track and you only follow that path,
Yes.
you know,
You
in
see
your
the
vacation.
hotel, you see the hotel restaurant, you see the beach.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, even
and
the
a
cruise,
beach.
the cruise ship tourists, I mean, some of them do get up the cruise ships and
Right.
walk, but again, they walk to, as you mentioned, the craft market, etc.
Yes,
And some
exactly.
of the stuff in the craft market are not even St. Lucian.
Mhm.
It's just branded St. Lucia, but it's not St. Lucian. So they are exposed to that, which they think is St. Lucian, but it's not really. And they're exposed to cast trees and environs, but not really, again, mixing with St. Lucians and really getting an idea of the people. Everybody who speaks to them has this fake little accent. Yeah, man, how are you? You know, yeah, you want a taxi to it?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yes.
You know, are we St. Lucians or are we people trying to copy everything somebody
Yes.
else has? You know, the person came to your country, they don't want you to speak in their language. I mean, to me, I would think they would want you to speak in your language and communicate with them, let them get a sense, as you said, of what St. Lucia is like. But again, we seem to not understand, not be educated enough to value what we have, value ourselves, and offer it to people authentically, as opposed to offering them a version that is, again, stylized for the tourism market. Look at St. Lucia Jazz. We know that when you go to Jazz, there's a jazz dress code now.
Oh,
Apparently, if you're not wearing linen, you cannot, I mean, you're not in the thing for jazz. You
You're
have
not-
to
you're-
go
you're
buy
not-
a little
you're
linen
not in it.
outfit. Yes, because that's how St. Lucians dress for jazz. And if you're not dressed to the nines, you know, it's there's this thing, and again, but it's tailored for what we think would look good for people coming from outside.
Yeah, the
You'd be
stereotype
surprised a lot
of-
of people, as you said, want to experience the country, but as maybe there's that
Yeah. I mean,
message get lost somewhere.
and we can segue from jazz into another thing, you know, the tourism industry in general and the Freedom Bay project. You know, we keep on giving more and more
Yeah.
of what is ours, our patrimony. We keep on selling our patrimony,
And sell, not least sell.
you know, for peanuts. And this is very, very concerning to me. And I don't care which government is in power, I'll speak about it. It's very concerning to me that we keep on selling our patrimony and giving it away in some instances. You know, we have to look seriously at what tourism is offering us. I know that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you're knocking tourism, and tourism is the major earner for St. Lucia. But you have to look at tourism in a wider context. You have to look at tourism as far as, you know, what effects it has on your economy, what effects it has on your society, what effects it has on your culture. Tourism
Long-term.
takes a lot more from St. Lucia than we actually see that it does, or we admit to. When you have the hotels always demanding that they get a break, hotels get the most concessions.
Yeah.
Okay, the taxpayers' money go into the hotels, right? And some cases they can't even visit the hotels, the locals.
Yes.
Okay, our taxpayers' money supporting the hotel industry. Hoteliers, the tourism sector, you know, fighting for the 15% that they don't want to pay the 15%. They got to pay 8% St. Lucians don't benefit from that. We're losing again.
They don't, and
We're
they
losing.
just-
We're
and the
losing a
little that they
further
have to pay,
7%. Yeah,
They
We're-
still don't pay it.
we're losing a
You
further
know?
7% in revenue that, you know, we should be getting for our social programs, our health infrastructure, and our health system, our education.
Yes.
You know, we're losing that to tourism. Also, you know, I mean, I talked about the concessions, the tax breaks. These hotels that come, they get years of tax breaks, so they pay no tax. And it is widely known that some of the hotels, they get the 10-year tax break, and then 10 years later, they change the name of the property just
To
so
get
that they
another-
could get another
yeah.
tax break. And this is what happens. This is what we have to be discussing as far as tourism. The last point about it for me is tourism. A lot of that money that we make, the money that we talk about, all that money we
Yeah,
make
the
in
tourism,
tourism,
that's, yes, supporting
it
that-
gets
that-
repatriated, because apart from the Bay Gardens and, you know, another
Yeah.
few local establishments, all of these properties are foreign owned.
Yep.
And these people, yes,
You
they
could
have
actually
invested
count them-
here.
You could more or less count
but
them on your hands. Bay Gardens, Palm Haven, Cocoa Farm.
They send, yeah, all
you
the big
know,
ones, they send their money out.
Stonefield, just a few that actually locally
Exactly.
owned.
All these big properties, the money goes outside of St. Lucia. So
And another
it's not
major
a benefit
cost,
to us.
another major cost of vacation, again, the flight. And then we again,
Exactly,
something
we're paying
like that
for the
which we-
seats. We're paying for the seats. We're paying
we
to
don't
bring
have
airlines
shares
in.
in the airlines.
You know, we're
It's-
paying
it's-
taxpayers' money going out again for tourism.
Yeah.
You know, and we are being slapped every time. As far as I'm concerned, we're being slapped. You know,
But
saying,
again,
oh,
it goes
well,
back-
you know, tourism is a major earner for St. Lucia,
It
so
goes
don't knock
back
tourism,
to-
don't speak badly about tourism.
Yeah, but it goes back to our perceptions, our understanding, our level of education, because you find that most hotels don't even have a union. There's no representation for the workers. And
Because
you know
we're-
what?
we're so
the
afraid.
workers don't mind.
Because we're so
They don't
afraid, because
mind,
we don't want to
exactly, they're
lose
afraid
our
to lose
tourism
the
job.
You know,
And
I'm
they always
saying to
threaten
me,
to.
what's the difference between being a babysitter in New York, or in Germany or in Miami or something, as opposed to working in the tourism industry? You're getting it. I mean, what you're getting is barely enough to guarantee you that you'll have a pension and that you'll be able to stop working at 65. Feed your family and everything, send your children to college, and stop working at 65 and be able to have something to live off.
And the social effects
But then
as
they're
well,
so
Maria.
afraid. We believe that solutions, we have so little to offer
Right.
that we must work for somebody else and we cannot do anything on our own.
And the social
And we
effects
cannot
too.
protest. When they step on us, we're like, oh, thank you so much for not stepping on me harder. You know, because I'm just happy that you even put me there to be stepped on.
But yeah, let's say, okay, oh, that's okay.
That's
You know,
okay.
that's what you say.
Yeah.
That's okay, and we smile.
That's okay.
No, we have to stand up, and in some cases, some ways, we have to become like the
Yeah.
Bajans.
But the interesting thing is that a lot of the hotel workers, they have this habit which kind of expresses, I guess, a lot of their rage, and they understand, they know that they're not being treated fairly, but then they feel that they have no power. But then, you know, this attitude of cursing the guest, insulting
Creole.
the management behind their back, all these things, you know, indicate that something is not right, that you feel that you're not being treated fairly, but then they also feel they have no power. Now, they feel they're so happy to get a little job. The ministers, the you know, reps are so happy are happy that their constituents are happy. So then they bend over backwards to get the hotels in there, to give the people a little jobs, instead of pushing them to do better.
Patronizing us. St. Lucia is for St. Lucians. And don't get me wrong when I say St. Lucia is for St. Lucians. This is where most St. Lucians live. This is our country. This is the
But I
place
don't know
we
about
call
the most
home.
St. Lucia. Are you sure?
Yeah,
The
I
amount of St.
think
Lucians
so.
who are living overseas.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
are a
sure
lot of them
because
living overseas,
a lot,
but
so it's
the
very good.
majority of
Yeah.
St. Lucians live on St. Lucia. So this is
But
our
how much
island.
of St. Lucia
There
is
is no
owned?
other place where we can go and claim,
This is ours.
patrimony,
This is where we belong,
claim
yeah.
ownership. You know, so we have to start treating St. Lucia like it is ours, and
And
stop
we don't
letting.
look at the long term. We don't. Again,
Yeah.
maybe it's something that we need to look at our school curriculum, because if it's not being done at home, maybe it needs to, some little bit of it needs to be done at school. And even though it is being done at home, it needs to be reinforced in the schools. I mean, what is national pride? Why do we even care about hair? Because somebody might not think it's so great to be a St. Lucian, but the fact remains, you can be thrown out of every other place on the face of the earth
Except
St.
this
Lucia.
one. Yeah.
So just on that basis, you need to appreciate.
This is yours. This is
You
the
need to
only place they
appreciate that.
can.
Just on that basis, I was born here. That means that they cannot just take me and throw me out.
Yeah.
Any other country could find a reason and throw you out of their country.
Whether you're a citizen, whether you're
No matter
naturalized
what,
a
yeah.
citizen or not.
Right?
I-
But on that basis, we need to appreciate it and hold something for
guard it.
our children to come. And
Yeah, we're
activists protect the
giving everything
environment.
away. Freedom Bay project.
And even if we look at it on a global scale, let's say you want to say you're a citizen of the world, are we going to take every part of the world? We talk about, I mean, I think one of the Freedom Bay, one of their catchphrases is undiscovered Caribbean or something. Yeah, undiscovered Caribbean. But if you take every corner of it and build a big development on it,
if you
it's no
discover
longer
everything that's
Caribbean.
undiscovered, then
all the greenery, the lushness,
Yeah.
all that beauty that you speak about is going to be destroyed because you have all the deforestation, you have all the negative impacts on the environment. It's not going to be what you want. So they're going to come, make their money for 10 to 20 years
and leave.
and leave the rest for us.
And leave it scarred, just like colonialism. You know, they came there,
Yeah.
they used the plantations, bled the land dry, and then after they left, you know,
but we have
left
been
us to fend on our
we have
own.
been taught to appreciate that. And we are
Well,
not asking a question.
I've not
we are not
been
asking
taught
a
that,
question.
Maria. I
You
have
know,
been
it's like
taught
thank God for them. Why are you thanking God for? God says you have to be meek. So you must be meek and just take whatever is thrown at you and say, "Oh, I get my reward in heaven." That's okay.
No,
so that will always be at that point.
we
Because
have
we're going
to-
to wait for our reward in heaven.
We have to keep on speaking about that. Freedom Bay, I think the politicians a lot, and I
but
don't
they
care.
will not
Don't
do it
tell-
unless the populace, unless their constituents
we
want them to
but
do
we
it.
don't
They
say
will not do it.
no. That's not true, because we just accept a lot. It's not that we
Yeah.
want them to do it, but then we just accept it. That's our culture. That's our you know. Oh well, is them, they in charge. That we always say that they in charge. Yes, we put them there to manage, but they do not
put
own
them
it. Yeah, we put them there, but they do not own it. And people might say I'm political, but all politicians. I'm talking about all politicians. They make piss poor decisions on behalf of the people they represent, and then we are left holding the bag at the end of the day. Some of them, they get their cuts, and I'll be frank about it, they do, and we
They do.
we
They do.
know about it, you know. So when they have theirs
That's why we want
and
to get into
ours is
politics.
sold, you know, then what do we have? We have nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we cannot be giving away things. You know, we giving away our beaches and stuff. Sandals has those villas
Yeah.
on the sea.
And the pillars blocking out
You
and
know,
everything else.
what effect will that have on our beaches? We already we have been cut off. Now you're having villas in the sea,
water, mhm.
in the water, so you cannot access that as locals, because of course they'll be watching you if you
It's
swim
their
around
property.
there.
No, it's their property.
It's their
They want to protect supposedly they want to protect the property, but then you're looking
nonsense,
at the rights that
nonsense.
you're taking away from people.
And
Again, look at you saying that, but somebody watching you right now is going to be, okay, I'm upset about Freedom Bay. I don't think that is something that should happen. I would like to protest, but then what? What do I do?
No,
That's another lack. That people
protest.
may object to something,
yeah,
but they have no idea
how they
how
can
to take that from my objecting right now in my living room to my minister or the prime minister listening to me. And to
yeah,
actually
there
make
should
a
be a
change.
way that you can reach your representatives and voice opposition to things that really do not represent your interest.
There
I
are
think that
ways, we just don't know about it.
But we
People
need to
just don't
explore them and probably teach the population about how they can as well. Talking about that, there's a related story, and Boo Hinkson, my very good friend.
Another hotel story.
Yeah, you know, he is livid about you know
Outspoken.
getting searched at hotels, and you know, he has checked with a number of lawyers who have said that it is illegal. I called the executive vice president of the SLHDA last week, who said he would call me back, and up to this day he has not, about this issue where, you know, locals going into hotels are being searched at the gates. They have no right to begin with to search you.
Yeah.
Okay? And on what basis do you search somebody? They don't search visitors going in, or Caucasians or colored people. Well, we are the coloreds.
People lacking color.
Right. Ironic, huh?
People of
We
the
are
pasty
we
variety.
are the coloreds.
Yes.
Anyway, they do not search a certain color skin, but yet if you appear to be local, they would search you, which is illegal. You know, the excuse given is that hotels are private property. This is not the case. They are offering a
businesses.
service. They're
Yeah.
businesses, just like a bank, just like a supermarket, just like any. They offer a service, right? And you don't just go search people at a supermarket or at a bank, whatever. If there is a probable cause, of course, you have the right to do it. But you don't just search people
But look, we
because
talk-
they enter and leave.
What we just spoke about, ways to change, ways to make change happen. For example, a lot of the people who go to hotels, let's say, who would enter in the guest gate but be a St. Lucian, maybe people who are moneyed, who have a particular, you know, status, into economic status, or, you know, or social status, right? They would enter and they would see these things happening and they would stay quiet because then they're privileged, they get in
Right,
and,
and
do
they
nothing.
don't get searched.
These people are some of the ones who could make change happen the fastest. They could call the manager and say, I am, for example, Boo Hinkson has spoken out. Why haven't more people spoken out like Boo has? Put it on the line and say, you know what, I am somebody, true, I could enter there, I know, but this should not be happening. You call the manager, you speak to him, you speak to whoever and say, this does not make any sense. You know, you protest to your minister or to whoever the representative is for tourism, you know, or for your constituency and object to the thing happening, but nobody, not even the people who are supposed to be educated, again, they see it as something to put them above the rest of us. So it's okay with them. They don't care. They don't make a protest. They don't say anything. Why this thing just keeps happening?
To be subject, I also have a problem with that in the US, but that's a different thing.
There's a lot of stuff that's happening in the hotels that's illegal as well, because there are a lot of people that, I mean, for example, photographers that we know who work with the media. So I know I've spoken to photographers, and some hotels will bar a photographer from coming in to do a job. For example, you may book a wedding online and say, okay, I love this photographer, I'd like him to do my wedding. You get to the hotel and the hotel tells you, no, you can only use the hotel photographer, regardless of the quality of that person and whether you like them or not. And then the photographer who you've hired, who you want to do your wedding photo shoot, you'd say, okay, this is a person, can he come into the hotel to do my wedding photo shoot? And you'll be told, no, he cannot do that.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that one.
People have actually, well, one photographer I know has actually fought back physically, you know, to assert his right to do his job because he has been contracted to do a job by a client. What about the client's rights? Forget about the rights of a St. Lucian or photographer living here or working here. What about the rights of the client to get the photographer, or to get the photographer, to get the flowers from whoever you want to get the flowers from, to get your dress done. If you decide I want to get a local person to do my dress, come into the hotel and, you know, do it for me, or I want a local person to do my hair, X, Y, Z. I want to choose who does it. Well, all that is prevented.
We'll have to keep on talking about that, Maria. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll discuss the passing of two stalwarts in media, and we'll wrap up. Stay with us.